this particular sort of video, we're going to go over the importance of having, really good A players in your team and having really good employees, specifically virtual assistants. That's what I do in my company. I place virtual assistants to help business owners like Brian with, outreach, follow-ups, admin tasks, and even helping them with your current clients. And yeah, man, let's dive straight into it. So Brian, how's everything going?
Doing great, man.
Good to see you as always.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about, so when we first started working, obviously the plan was, let's book you calls first. So you go ahead and do it yourself first. We need to get proof of concept, because once we get the VA, we don't want them to sort of figure out what works and what doesn't. We want to make sure the systems are in place, so they're not wasting time and they're just booking calls without thinking. And so we managed to do that, got a few calls, and then once we started using the VA, what was your whole sort of opinion on that, and with time management and helping you book meetings?
Yeah, so even first of all with booking the calls, I'm glad we did that first because I got to understand the pipeline and just how traffic, getting traffic works. So that was super necessary for me. Especially working with the VA, just kind of understanding what metrics to look out for. And it also made it where with getting a VA, we weren't going to be questioning is it the process or is it the VA that's the problem? So that helped a lot. And my experience with Kim specifically, once you put Kim in the team, bro, in the first week she got me a deal that I closed. So she basically paid for herself for the whole year in the first week.
Yeah, no, that was pretty. That doesn't happen so quickly like that. That was pretty sick. I can't lie. What was it, within 4 days of the initial message to the deal close, and you didn't really
Yeah.
you didn't do anything of the you didn't do the outreach or anything.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. What would you say? I mean, before we even talk about that, what's your business and who do you help, just so people understand what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. I do a coaching and consulting business for game developers who want to make money with their creativity. So how I help them is through the Fab Marketplace, because that's the fastest and easiest way to monetize with your creativity as a game developer right now. So that's basically what I do is I help professional game devs make money outside of their jobs.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Okay, cool. And then, what sort of problems were you having? I mean, you was booking meetings yourself before the virtual system, but what sort of problems were you having before he started working with you?
Yeah, I mean, bro, I was booking 3 to 5 meetings a week. So I was booking good amount of meetings. But the main problem is most of them were not qualified.
Mm,
And I think my mentality when I was booking the meetings was I just need to keep booking more meetings. So I didn't think about the lead quality. I was just I need to just keep grinding, booking meetings and booking meetings. But once Kim came in and started booking her, I noticed just automatically the lead quality went up.
mm, yeah. No, that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, cool. Um, was there a moment you was like, wow, okay, this is really helping? I'm assuming when when you close that deal. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the moment was even it was before I closed the deal when the guy jumped on the first call, and as soon as he jumped on the call and I asked him, hey, so what, why are you here basically? And he's like, oh yeah, I watched your content, and I was just looking at your post and I was looking at your profile, and I even went to your marketplace listing and I saw that, and he just had done so much research on me, and he was the very first person that I noticed that had ever done that. And that's kind of what clicked for me was oh, I need to get more people who are willing to investigate, because the more they investigate, the more they know me and the more they understand how I help people, and the easier it will be to close them. So that whole call was really he was basically already sold before he even jumped on the call. He just wanted to make sure I was the right person to work with. So
Mm,
Kim just did a great job of really like reaching out to the right kind of people, like that's something we're still even dialing in right now, is making sure, like, even for me, like understanding what like specific pain points these kind of people have, so we can reach out to more of them. But that was the main difference, was that I realized booking calls was not the issue for me, but the issue was my lead quality.
Mm, yeah. And how much like time have you bought back through, having Kim help you with
uh,
outreach and communities?
easily 2 hours in a day at least,
Hmm.
like very easily.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. No,
Yeah.
it's a lot of time, especially as a business owner. If you can save 2 hours every single day, that definitely does add up, hundred
And you
percent.
know what, too? Even the time is, I feel like, most business owners, they can always find time. I know most business owners like to feel like they're busy, but they can always find time for what's like a priority. But for me, what was like more of the value was just the peace of mind of like, oh, even when I was like, like it doesn't matter whether I'm fine or I'm sick, or like, it's like someone is booking calls for me.
Mm,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like the system is working regardless of how I feel, regardless of what I do. And the thing too is, now I'm able to focus on, my mindset is now like, what's the next high leverage thing? So now I'm like building out my stuff to start doing YouTube. And the only reason I can like really like focus on YouTube now is literally because Kim is helping me out with outreach.
Mm, yeah, 100%. And now you're sort of in a position where okay, there's going to be meetings on the calendar, and it's just up to you whether to close or not. You don't need to think about, because I mean, when we all start business, and even for myself, once upon a time, I was thinking, okay, how am I going to get, how am I going to reach out to clients? What am I going to say to them? How am I going to get them on my calendar? How am I going to close them? How am I going to fulfill on them? And so now you're in a position where you're only worrying, okay, to see how qualified, well, they are going to be qualified, but can I close them and can I deliver on them? In terms of the marketing and the back end side of stuff, you don't really need to you don't really need to get involved in that unless there's a few tweaks here and there. So how does it feel, being in that position right now?
Feels great, man. Feels great. Like I feel like my business finally feels like a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, there's still things that I think I need to dial in, but I now have bandwidth to focus on those things without feeling like I'm letting my outreach slack. Because once you let the outreach slack, it's like, what's the point? Like, you're if you're not booking calls, how are you going to make money? So the fact
Yeah.
that I know like I still have the opportunity to make money while I focus on creating YouTube content, or while I focus on uh creating like value for my clients or customers, like that's super valuable for me.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about leverage, as everyone says. Even today, I'm not feeling the greatest, but I know I have a team helping with my clients. I know I have my VAs bringing in meetings, and so whether I'm feeling good or not, the business is always running. And so I need people need to understand that, and once they understand that quicker, it can therefore scale, and it's just literally down to them. And you're in a position too. Like I know now, it's for me to scale. It's literally because I know what to do. I know how to put meetings. I know what to say. I know how to train my VAs, train VAs for yourself or my other clients. It's literally just down to you now. Like whether you want to get to 100K, 200K, 300K, reverse engineer. How many VAs do I need? How many outreach do I need? How much piece of content do I need to sign clients? And it's literally just down to you because you figured out what works. And now, as long as you can do at scale, I mean, you'll you can achieve a lot pretty quickly.
Right. And one thing too is, I think it's very easy to underestimate how much outreach you need to do to get a close deal,
Big one.
right? Because that was the main thing with me, like starting out, is like I underestimated how much outreach I needed to do. And it's like trying to do all that by yourself. You're like you may close one deal a month, and it's not because you're bad at sales. It's just because like you're one person trying
Mm,
to book all these calls and then also fulfill and then create content and then do whatever it is you're like, do all these different things. But once you have that leverage of a team member helping you out,
mm,
that changes the game completely, because Now they're putting in their own, like Kim does way more. I used to like 85 to 100 messages, and then I would even miss some days. So Kim does 150 a day just to
Minimum.
start. One minimum, 150 a day. It's like, bro, whether I feel good, I don't feel good. No matter if I'm like today, I'm not even looking at my computer. Like he's about to send the end of the report. Hey, 150 messages sent.
Yeah.
Bro, that feels good. Like, like it's like I know like we're moving the needle every day. Like and we're getting closer to what that number is that we need to for the next close. And that's like so the way I'm even thinking about it is like how can I double that? How can I triple that? Because I want to get there faster.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. You mentioned something really useful there for anyone watching this video. It's like people underestimate how much volume we need to do in order to win in anything in life. Like honestly, not just business, whatever you want to lose weight or put on muscle, like you need to do a shit ton of volume. I get it all the time from Hamasi, like whatever you're doing now, like just 10x it, or like literally you're just gonna be you're just gonna be deluding yourself, and you're gonna be like, why is this not working? Honestly, if you feel
Yeah.
like 100K a month within by the end of the year, like literally just 10x that time you're gonna get there, because it's probably gonna take you a longer to get there. Obviously, in the micro, you want to work with speed. So every day, your day-to-day tasks, you want to be quick and efficient. But in the macro, long term, you need to understand it's a long game. You got to be patient. But yeah, 100%. The volume thing is literally the reason why people don't scale.
Yeah, bro. It's because like just like you said, it's like imagine I feel like I need to do this much work and then I actually need to do 10x. And I feel like he says 10x to be nice. Like you really need to do closer to like 50 to 100x.
Mhm.
But it's like people can't even imagine 50 to 100x. So it's like, bro, how do you have to say 10x, but like when you do the 10x I feel like when you do the 10x is when you finally get out of the valley of despair. And then you realize, you know what, maybe I need to do 50x, but you're okay with it because you're like 10x got me this far. So I feel like that's where I am now, is just coming to terms with like this takes like it's gonna take way more than I thought. And like you said, in macro, you need to be patient, but in the micro, it's super important to figure out like what is every single thing I can do to maximize my inputs, because it's going to take way more input than I thought, especially if you're doing it like me. Like I hadn't done something like this before. So like
Mhm.
doing this, it's like I don't know what to expect. So I need to basically like it would be unreasonable for me to kind of have an expectation and feel like I failed because that expectation wasn't met if I've never done the thing before.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah,
it's more reasonable to kind of expect it will take like way more and way harder so that I can just focus on being patient and focus on my inputs.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And then last question: if you had to speak to someone and try and give them some advice for potentially hiring a virtual assistant, or hiring, or even automating anything, but just making sure like they're getting out of that day-to-day grind, because I know it's a graft. And I always say to someone, as soon as you sign your first client, you've got some cash flow, get an automation or hire a VA and just you know because it's a real graft. What would you advise them in terms of leveraging automation or leveraging other people's times?
Do it yesterday. I took too long because you had hit me up about it like a month before I started, and I was like, bro, the cash flow isn't really right now. Like, I don't think I'm ready. I should have done it.
Mm. Yeah, honestly, I say this to myself all the time. Like, I would go broke this month paying my employees. Honestly, I don't care if I have to like have uh water and bread and egg for the next month and just live cheap, but pay my employees. I'd rather do that, because I know I keep paying them. You know, they'll keep trying to build the business, and eventually something will crack, and we'll crack something, and we'll be up again, or we'll make revenue again. And so I always say to someone, if you have, whether you're just starting out or your cash flow is low, like try and find, even for automation, $70, $100, try and find money to to do that, because you could be sleeping right now, even over the weekend too, and like leads are coming in and people replying and people are interested. It's powerful, and that's how you win long term. You know, ahead of everyone. You know, just doing a lot more than your competition and anyone doing similar stuff to you.
Yeah, bro. I agree 100%. I think the biggest mistake I made was I waited too long to get a VA. You know, like I waited like a month to finally like take that leap. And really the only thing that was holding me back was just the fear because it was counterintuitive. Like I felt like I'm not already closing clients, so I don't feel like I can sustain a VA right now. But the moment I got a VA, my VA helps me close client that will help me sustain the VA. So, you know, like but I couldn't think about it that way from the start. So what I'll tell someone who may be in my shoes is take that risk because the upside will pay for whatever investment you're putting in now, and it may feel counterintuitive like it did for me, but that's literally the play. It's like the sooner you can leverage another person's time, the better. Like the more that imagine even if like you know you're time rich but you're money poor and you're like, you know what, I'm going to scrape all I have and pay for this VA and I'm also going to do outreach alongside them. Like, imagine how much you can achieve doing that versus
Mm.
trying to grind it by yourself and hoping, like, oh, yeah, I'll figure out. Like, Kim has been doing this like way longer than me. She literally did what I couldn't do in 3 months. She did it in 1 week.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I try and explain to people. They're even. I mean, I've kind of figured out how to work LinkedIn. It's the platform I use. But because they're in the day to day, they're in the day to day in DMs and having conversations and seeing what's working and tweaking and testing. They end up knowing more than me because I'm not really in the day to day outreach anymore. And so you know these VAs. I mean, I've trained them, but you know, credit to them. They're sharp. They're switched on. They're always telling me, "Oh, Josh, okay, maybe let's tweak this. This is not working. This is good. Let's scale this." People need to understand that like these they can end up making you a lot of money having a good VA.
Yeah, bro. It's legit. I mean, you know, you can't convince people when they feel is right, they'll feel is right. But like, if anybody is like kind of on the fence because they're not sure or because like of that feeling of like, oh man, like I feel like I want to get here first, I would say don't do that because when you get there and you finally make the investment and it pays off, you're going to be like me thinking, damn, I wish I did it sooner.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
might as
Yeah.
well just do it now.
And then just the last thing, there's no investments out there right now. For instance, the average VA gets paid $350 to like $500 for the month, full time. You know, in the countries where we train them and we find them. So you put in basically $400 and you close the deal worth over 5K. So you put in $400 to make 5K. There's no other investments like you can. Well, there are, but not that I know of. That you can put some 400 in and get 5K out, and that's the power
Yeah.
of getting these systems to work in your business.
It really is, man. And yeah, that's just the beauty of business is like you said, like you're not gonna go to like the stock market or like even another business where someone else is running and say, where they'll be like, give me $400 and I'll give you 5,000. Like they'll take your 400 and they'll make 5,000, but they'll probably give you back like 480.
Hmm.
You know, so like they because they're leveraging business. So like
Yeah.
that's the thing is like you have the opportunity to do that for yourself instead of like giving your money to someone else to take that responsibility. Like you're actually taking that responsibility into your own business. So whatever upside you get is all yours. And you can actually see like that 10x return, you know, even multiple 10x's.
100%, man. 100%. Brian, it's been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. You know, thank you for being a great client and a good friend. And let's keep scaling this and let's see how far we can
Bro,
scale this business.
thank you for being the best coach, man. And I know you're gonna take me to 100K per month. So let's get this.
Let's do it, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Take care.